Admea Vesrum Shana. May you live to 120.
I know people don't see what I see, right? Because I've been doing this for over 35 years. But I just started seeing all these people with brain fog. I'm not kidding you. It looks scary. Omar, they look like zombies, okay? And what I saw is what I'm going to explain to you and everyone what they're seeing. What you're seeing is you're seeing someone that they have this far away look. Like you look at them, but basically they look like they're far away, right? And these are people that are literally struggling and suffering within their brains. And a lot of it has to do with what happened. You already know what happened. A lot of people don't want us to talk about it all, but we got to talk about real stuff. Because you and I, we said this is going to be real conversations, red hot, uncensored. We already know it's long COVID. I mean, that's just one. So just imagine that long COVID came into play with you already had high stress. You already had nutritional deficiencies. You already are eating processed foods. You already have unstable imbalances in your hormone. You already had environmental toxins. You already had anxiety. I can list a lot of things you already had. You already had the high fives. Now you are being insulted with long COVID. And before we would think that, maybe it's just all in our minds, and then we really tried to pretend that it was all in our minds. So I'm not really seeing these people. That's not what I'm seeing. But literally right after the COVID vaccinations, I literally started seeing all these people. And even my 10-year-old granddaughter said to me one day when we were driving in this major city, I'm always careful with what I say. It wasn't Martha's Vineyard, it was a major city. And I says, what are all those people doing over there? They were like, they had trailers and cars and tents on the side of the road. My granddaughter said, I can't believe she said it. So it wasn't like just me thinking, just, Nana, those are zombie people. I said,
That is
what did
very,
you
very,
just
very
say?
true.
Yeah. So these were people that were living in this whole brain fog world, and no one was helping them. No one was helping because for the most part, what are you going to do, right? So these brain fog people had memory lapses, anxiety. So what do you do when you have all of that? Guess what you do? You drink more, you take more drugs because they didn't know what they were experiencing. It's not until now that we have holistic and naturopathic doctors and integrative doctors. I had the best thing that happened to me today. My sister told me that her now new integrative doctor gave his license up. He says, here's my
That's
license.
amazing.
I don't want it anymore. I'm tired of writing prescriptions and everybody. See, when you become aware, right? And you get older and especially become aware and you're spiritual, you're not taking the BS anymore. You're just not doing it. Money is not that important when you get to be a certain age. You've got doctors now saying you can have my license because I'm really going to really help people now. So, we're living in, so the title was Epidemic. I think whoever wrote the title for me was great. Thank you very much because it is an epidemic. It's an epidemic, and literally, we have to do something about it.
And that's the problem, that because of today's world, a lot of people are getting so adapted to it. They're getting used to being like that. It's okay to be zoned out. It's okay because they think it's a natural state of being. So when they say that to talk to people on COVID, which we know this is entirely a big cause of the spike protein, because that's actually what's causing all of this. Now, like you mentioned, people already had some of the highs, the high fives that your book is going to be talking about. Some people already had some of that. High stress, high sugar, high cholesterol, high fat, or gaining weight, bad eating habits, completely mineral deficiencies and vitamins. So once they start adding to this, they think, because a lot of symptoms overlap. Oh, fatigue, you're just, debilitated, low energy, you want to sleep all the time. So it's just probably a fatigue issue. So it's just probably stress. So it's just probably that, your life is getting, oh my God, overwhelmed. No, we had never experienced anything like this way before 2020. And now, more than ever, it's actually not just we're experiencing it at a high level. Healthline reports that 32 to 40% of COVID survivors, people who got
Long COVID.
they got
That's
the
right.
extra. Because here's
That's
the
right.
thing, some people got both jabs, they got the boosters, and they probably go for more if they tell them. So they keep adding more into that, and,
Right.
and and this is so critical because people think it's just us trying to bump them in the head. But no, listen, when it's 40% of people that's actually experiencing this, I see them on the train when I come up, I get off work and I hop on the train. I see people, like you said, they're like zoned out. They're looking at the way far. The world is crumbling in front of them, but they're just like, and you'll see them with their cup of coffee, and they're like, they're literally zombies, living zombies. So when we look at this, what do you think we can start taking action to educate people?
You know, I work really well with people like that, and I really believe that fear has taken over our country. And one of the things about fear and anxiety and depression is if we don't get a hold of those people, they literally are dying. Some of them are dying of quiet suicide. And you think that basically if they had a heart attack or something, people know how to commit suicide in a better way now. The other people are just out there existing and taking over. The country is failing in finances now because a lot of them on rehab, a lot of them just on disability, a lot of them just give up and they don't even work. They just walk around, you see them, you go, I wonder where they live. Well, guess what, guys? They're living in your community, in your backyards, and you don't see them. They're living underneath the train stations, underneath the ferries, at the airports. Anyway, anywhere, they are going to find a place to be amongst the living. But they are really struggling. And there's a lot of names given to these people. It's not, that's a nice name, by the way, brain fog. But I can name some names that are just beyond your comprehension of what they call these people. They need help. They don't need another drug because that's already being done. They're self-medicating. Their brains are being fried with the medication. They don't have any oxygen. They don't have any nutrients. They don't even drink water. They're dehydrated, living in places that they call their home. But it's not a home. It's a trailer. It's a bus. It's a car. They're the lost people. So now we have the other people. That's just the real severe that I'm talking about, Omar. But let's talk about the people that are going to work every day. I see those too. I see a lot of people that go to work every day, 9 to 5, and you ask them what they did at 9 o'clock, they don't remember. Ask them what they're going to do at 2 o'clock, they won't even know. They're just existing at work, but they have high fear, high anxiety. They don't know from one moment to the next what they're supposed to do. They're really there with their bodies, and literally they need help because of the brain fog is taking them over. The brain fog is making them forget what they have to do. The brain fog is causing anxiety. The brain fog is making them go to that vending machine to get more sugar.
And that's the scary part, because a lot of people who think it's just, something that could be, oh, it's just normal. Maybe like some people say it's age related. I forget stuff. And I want to say a story, share a little story. I'm not going to share his name. One of my managers at work, he's a great guy, great guy. He's 70. He takes care of himself. He's pretty active, but I've noticed several times where he's walking out of the car. I see him at maybe 6 in the morning before we start the shift, 6 something, and he'll get to the front of his office and say, "Where are my keys? Wait a second. Well, oh my God, I don't know where I left my keys." He has them in his hands, and he's asking where he left his keys. So it goes to show you that some people who are even a little active or even if they work out or probably eat well, they're not so up there because they got that, and it's affecting, they're damaging their nervous system, believe it or not.
That's right. That's right. And the scary part, now I hate to say this because I see at the retreat whole body diseases like cancer and Lyme disease and autoimmune diseases. I wish that I saw the high fives. I don't. I see more serious whole body diseases than that. I'm writing a book about the high five because these people are at home, they need help. But the people that come to the retreat have some serious issues. And I specifically remember one lady said to me, I've been trying to get to you for at least 3 months. And I said, well, what happened? She obviously had money, so that was an issue. She just said, I couldn't get it together. She said, I just couldn't get it together. I couldn't focus. I couldn't remember what was the next phase to do to get here. I was afraid to catch the airplane because if I catch the airplane, I wouldn't know how to get there. But when I got there, I wouldn't know how to get to you. When I get to you, I didn't know how to catch the ferry. And all of these things, I'm just looking at her and I go, wow, that's brain fog at the worst level. And you know where a lot of them are, Omar? They're homebound. They don't come out. They're shut-ins. And you know why they're shut-ins? Because if they go to the doctors, they're going to get labeled dementia. And once you label dementia, you're going to get 3 drugs. Okay. So some of those young people in their 40s and their 50s, they know this can't be dementia, but no one's going to say brain fog because there's no medicine for brain fog. So they got to give you medicine. So it's got to be dementia. So the cognitive impairment is just so extreme that you got to figure out, where do we go from here? We do integrated blood work, and we can identify a lot of things like high inflammation, high ferritin levels, and all of this. We can see that their vascular flow has been compromised, and a lot of it has to do with long COVID. So we can see all of that, but at the same time, we have to keep asking us how bad it is and what do we do about it? Because you already know that insurance is only going to give them another drug. And that's why my friend, my colleague says, take my license. I can't do it anymore. And a lot of them are starting to do that, by the way. They're not going to
That's
put
powerful. That's powerful because it shows that people are waking up and professionals are understanding. I'm not going to do this anymore. You know what? If you want, just keep my license, because I can't be here seeing a person literally destroying themselves and me giving them a little, whipping up the pen to give them another prescription to destroy them even more. So when allopathic medicine jumps in, Big Pharma knows one thing is going to mess up another. It's going to be a collateral damage inside, just to figure out what exactly is going on. So a lot of this stuff that's happening is caused, and I'm going to say it, it's because of an inflammation in the brain. So inflammation, just inflammation causing the brain, and your brain barrier where the blood flows, it's not getting much oxygen because of the little protein in there, the little spiky leaf, messing up everything. So, they're in there all over, and we don't even know now. The more, like you said, people go and they just go and take it on sugar. They go they go to the vending machine. Once you start feeding your body sugar, that's exactly what it wants, because it wants to make you go through that. It wants you to feel zoned out. It wants you to be kind of like distressed and be out of place, be like, I can't focus, I can't function right. People who even work in offices, which I'm not putting it lower than any physical job, but I'm just saying sometimes in a physical way, people who are, let's say, blue collars, they're doing a lot of more physical stuff than a person in front of a screen, not belittling them because that's a lot of work mentally. But they come out like they got ran over by a train. Their body's exhausted. They're just going, oh my God, I can't take it no more. What did you do today? Well, I did my regular work, but it's just something. I don't know. People are coming out more tired. And sadly to say, the demographics are from 45 to 60 of people who probably still have more than 20 years of productive years, but they can't enjoy them.
I know. And those are the lost ones that really, because they live in a corporate world, and some of them, so there's two types. The ones that are gone, they're homeless. And then there's the ones that are still struggling. They're the corporate people. So they're not doing their job the right way. They're not doing their job happy. These are people who are struggling in a corporate industry. And those are the people we count on. I don't know about you, but I count on some of these corporate people. But I'm afraid, because a lot of them are really struggling with brain fog. And I can see it. A lot of people can't see it, but I can see when someone's struggling. And so you would ask them the same question, but ma'am, I didn't ask you that question. I just asked you this question. So why are you talking about that? And they would go, basically, they're struggling. And I think that, this thing is really simple. And I think that, I don't know when our medical industry will get it, but I think that the one thing that we have to understand why this is happening, not only is it the spike protein, but you got to remember on top of that, even before, because not everybody get this. And so I didn't get it. You already know why I didn't get it, right? But I think on top of everything, we are all living in the world of toxic overload. And some of us along the way, even a lot of people along the way, didn't know that they were detoxing most of their life. My grandmother detoxed her entire life. She don't even know what that word means, right? But she just lived a clean life, just basically lived a clean life. So, and she didn't get vaccinations because she's not living in this world now. But let's just say if she even did, she would be completely fine. A lot of people have been compromised even before they got it. And so now what we got to do is we got to do major repair. And we start with detoxification, and that's what we've been doing along the way. But even those people, we got to look at the real issue of why they have this zombie-like appearance. And the zombie-like appearance have told us that not only have they lived in a world of toxins, but they also have a barrier of emotional disability that was on the edge in the very beginning. So now you go and you inoculate those very people that are on the edge. What do you think is going to happen when you do that? Are they just miraculously going to go, wow, this is the best thing that ever happened to me? No. No. So I think that we failed them. And it's sad to say that we failed them, but now we have to, pull these people back and give them some disability, and we got to give them, and which drains our country even more. But we got to give them some kind of relief, because they won't make it. And I already talked to somebody about a month ago on, you got to be careful now, because I didn't understand what the food desert was and where all these people was at the extreme that I should have, because I was raised in the projects, right? And so I've been out of that world for like, what, 50 years? And it's multiplied times 100, the degree of that conditions and what people live in. To like drive down a beautiful street where you have what do you call a security guard in a building in New York, and these are multi-million-dollar buildings, but if you go in the alley, they're sleeping with their sleeping bags. There's something wrong with this, and it bothers me. And even though you want to help them, some people with brain fog are dangerous people, because I just said earlier, they take drugs and alcohol, even though you want to help them. So what do? There's two levels. There's the people that basically are on the severe side, and in our corporate structure, those are the people that if they hear me, if they understand what I'm saying, they will book a retreat. They will understand that the brain barrier have to be changed. They will understand that they have to detox. They will understand that we have transfer factor and kits for them. These are the aware. But there needs to be more people like me talking about it all the time, every day. Not just once a week. Everybody should be singing this song of how to get healthier now, how to get out of that brain fog, because it is affecting us. Don't think it's not affecting us. These people with brain fog are making decisions about our life. They're making decisions for us. That's our industry. So we have to be able to help them. And I look at people and I'll say to them, what do you eat? And, everyone will say to me, oh, doc, I eat really good. And I'll say, okay, well, you better tell me what you eat, because I want to eat what you eat if you're eating really good, right? And, I know that's a little bit of a humor, and I know that they're not eating good, but they think they're eating good. And I would like to be able to change that for them. But, at the end of the day, it requires education. We can't go backwards. We're ahead of this game. We have to go forward. And the only way that we can go forward is think about why it is that our ancestors lived a healthier life with no bone density problems in their hundreds. And why are we dying so young? And not only are we dying young, but we live a very poor quality of life, because we have so many disabilities. The average person 55 and over on 5 drugs, one for the cholesterol, one for the blood pressure. That's why the doctor quit. He says, I'm tired of writing prescriptions.
I don't blame them. But that's where the scary part comes, because you see, a lot of people think, okay, let's talk about a little bit about longevity before we hit the detox. I want to get into there. I want to ask you something, because I notice a repeated pattern coming up, and I'm going to bring it up soon. But longevity, it's really about not just how much you're living, it's the quality of life you're living with the age you can have. So there are people that can be 70 right now, still jogging at a park, chasing after the children or grandkids, and probably playing or hiking, and they're not really huffing and puffing. They're getting their breath, but they're not really going crazy. These people are living a quality of life. Now you have another 60 or 7-year-old who's probably just on meds all the time. Their body's just intoxicated with meds. That's another one. Because a lot of these pharmaceuticals, once you start becoming, so addicted to them, they start messing up with your gut line, and your gut liner becomes porous, and then that pores, it becomes stuff starts coming out. So when you have a leaky gut, that also starts affecting the brain barrier, and people don't function right. So you want to be able to have, like Les Brown says, I want to be able to die old. I want to die young at an older age. So you want to be 70 or 80, but you want to still be active. You don't want to be walking around and people have to carry you and walk you. Although we're all going to age, you don't need to get old. And that's something I tell everybody all the time, because it's really necessary to understand the quality of life you want to live. It's not just the age. There's people 40 right now that are broken. They're 40 people that they're just weak. And no, I'm 43, but I want to enjoy it. So I'm like 80 or more and be able to have a quality of life. Now let's talk about I see a lot of this coming up.
You know what you just said that I say a lot? And I don't like to say it a lot, but you already know, you said it. Age is just a number, right? It's a number that people try to play that number game. It doesn't work, because I know that there's 40 and 30-year-olds that are in worse shape than a 70-year-old. This not have anything to do with their number age. It has to do with the quality of their life. You know what I'm saying? You know, I talk about my grandmother all the time. She was in her hundreds. That lady just lived a clean life. She didn't do anything magical. She says, I'm not taking that pill. I don't know what that pill is. It didn't grow in my yard. Okay.
Smart woman.
So
Smart woman.
really, you know, so anyway, so I just wanted to say age is just a number. You don't play that number because that's
Mm,
all it.
I like that. You don't play that number. You know what, Dr. Ronnie? I've seen I was watching some videos, older videos of you on The View, on Wendy, you know, and all these videos that were probably maybe over 10 years old. You are exactly the same. Like, so when I look at them, I'm like, how does she do it? But obviously, you speak from
Well,
experience of what you're doing into your life. This is also brings up to one of the repeated, a lot of things that come up a lot in the detox program. Many people start saying, I have more, you know, a clearer mind. I have more clarity in my mind. My mind is just, my brain is functioning right. It goes to show you that what we're talking here tonight aligns perfectly. So for somebody who's probably watching for the first time, or they probably just joining the detox right now, one of the important things is this, but I want you to tell them how important it is to have these toxins out of your body, how much they're affecting it, and why this is not just any other detox, why you decided to call it detox for longevity.
well, I've always done detoxing for many years, and you know that, right? But time changes. And not only do time change, but you learn more along the way. So I realized that even when I was in California, some wicked things have happened. I literally realized that while I was in California, and something happened to a child where the mother put the child on the carpet and the baby died the next day. But it took us a long time to realize what happened to that baby. And what we realized is that the baby couldn't handle the toxicity from the carpet that was just cleaned. Okay. So, and also the other thing that came to my mind was there's a lot of bees and there's mosquitoes and there's all kinds of things in the environment that's all natural. But in California, there was none. And I realized the reason why there was nothing, no bugs, no nothing, because in that specific area, they were spraying to death everyone. So I started thinking in my brain, I gotta research what this is about. So that's when this is over 30 years ago when I went into researching about what it is, detoxification, why nobody's talking about it, and why we are like living in the world of toxicity, but no one's talking about it, but people are dying. And they were giving all these people basket, diagnoses like chronic fatigue and, all of these diagnoses like autoimmune. What does all that mean? And so I started realizing that a lot of it meant that we met our toxic load. We can't do it anymore. So we come down with a chronic condition. So I started realizing that why my grandmother lived in her hundreds, and that was that it was just clean living. And because I am her granddaughter, I started studying this, and I realized that a lot of people try to ask me why it is that I look the way I look, I act the way I act, and I tell them, I says because I live a very boring life, because I can get someone's attention when I say that, and they go and they chuckle. They says, "What does that mean?" I says, "Well, I don't do drugs. I don't drink. I don't eat bad foods. I don't go out and do crazy things. And I just live a very boring, clean life. And I've always done that. But it doesn't mean I didn't have fun, because I could go out with someone that literally that will drink and do whatever it is that they do. And I can be in the midst of the fun, but not do exactly what they were doing, because I always went back to the fact that my body can't handle that. My body can't do that. And that's not what my grandmother did. And so when I talk to people, especially people who I consider, we call it, there's a terminology called running on empty. Running on empty is something that's not me. But running on empty means a person who is running on high stress, which is high cortisol, high adrenaline, high epinephrine. Those hormones are poisons within the system of already being intoxicated. So that's what I mean by running on empty. They're already at a very low level. They already eat high processed foods. They already don't sleep. They already have imbalanced hormones. And all of those things contribute to what I consider running on empty, which causes what the thing that we said cause long COVID. We know that. I've done the research. I already know what happens when people have brain fog. I already know that they were running on empty. Then they have brain fog because of long COVID. And a lot of them just have a high level of cortisol, epinephrine, all of those high stress hormones. High stress hormones, guys, are a poison in the system.
And they make you do poisonous things, like going out looking for sugar or restaurants just to relieve that emotional damage that's going in
Right.
your body. Which that's why I love having when we have Alice around. You know, Alice is just an amazing emotional therapist and supporter. She's always there. But it's always great to have that too, and it's always great to have you and Dr. Ramunda, who I can pretty much pick their brains, and you know, you add so much to my life and to many people on here. Just looking over the people who have the camera on a little bit, and maybe somebody who's on Facebook, you can't really indulge and see what I can see. So don't hate on me. But I'm on the VIP side. But I see amazing people on here. I see Cynthia. I see Claudia Bedoya. You know, people who are already experiencing the detox. You see they're shining. Like their skin is just, you know, not just because they're clean, but they look amazing. But this is what the detox, you can see a person like you said, you can tell when a person is toxic, but also when they have brain fog. Not just because they're zoned out, their skin shows a lot. And you know, that is something that we have to really look. Some people just have different skin, and it's okay. I'm not trying to say that's the only reason, the only factor, but we see Cynthia. She's always shining and bright all the time. We see Claudia. We see all the ladies that are participating, and hopefully all the men, because I've been in here, I kind of feel like you guys are just crushing me. I'm the only dude that kind of like wants to fight for us men. Let's have healthier men in this community. But I feel great. So one thing that I noticed is that energy increases for a lot of people. Brain, they're just functioning mentally in a whole different level. They feel like they can be focused. And this is something that people can start enjoying from now. Even if like whoever's watching on Facebook and you're probably hopping on, you saw this, you're hopping onto that, you're probably like just thinking, you know, this is probably just another detox. First off, it's not another detox. You get a whole bunch of minerals and vitamins in your body. Your body depletes from everything. I love the 3 R's that you mentioned, you know, reset, replenish, and replace, or I think it is something like that. You have them. It's just crazy how we can do it with simple stuff and changing minor things in our life. Now, yeah, we're not going to be, you know, we're not going to last probably forever, but whatever you have left, live it with quality, live it at your best. Which brings me to the next question. Right now, when you see people who are going through, you see a lot of people over there at the retreat as well. You've dealt with celebrities like Mariah Carey, you know, people like Steve Harvey, all these people who have money, but they didn't have health. And you mentioned something earlier about somebody going to eat good food. They're probably going to a fancy restaurant, but they're not getting quality food because you have a great saying that you say, we're living in the land of plenty, but we're starving. And that's happening to so many people right now where they're starving at a level. This is why they're running on empty. So you're barely getting any minerals and vitamins in your food and the ones you need. Now you're running with cortisol. The stress is killing you. You're literally running on fumes. So how can you tell somebody right now who's probably listening the importance? Christmas is around the corner. Thanksgiving, a lot of people are going to eat their face off. They're going to stuff their face like crazy.
Yeah.
Why is it so important, the the detox, and what would you suggest somebody to start doing it either right now
Well,
or after Christmas?
I think right now, people need to. I don't know if they're going to put this kit out there, but I have a kit that I developed for brain fog and a way to get their bodies in homeostasis with the recall and all of the supplements that help with basically the immune factors in it. And the other thing is that besides that, you always got to remember that people who have those conditions of brain fog and low energy, you know, sleep right. You know, I never really had a sleep problem, but I've talked to so many clients that tell me that their sleep right has changed their entire life, right? Now, people with brain fog, you got to remember they're exhausted, they have anxiety, they have depression. I don't know anybody that ever said to me, oh my goodness, I need some energy, I need some coffee. You know what they say to me? I need to sleep. They're exhausted because they need to sleep. So the one thing, if I have to leave this one thing with people, is I need to tell them that you cannot ride down that road of depression and anxiety and fear. You have to stay positive. Find yourself a coach no matter what it does, because that saves lives, because your body believes what you tell it. If you tell your body all day that I'm overwhelmed, I'm fearful, I have a lot of stress, I can't sleep. So it brings up those extra hormones that we all have the ability to do to pour out into your bloodstream. Those hormones, if you have too much of them, it hurts you more than it helps you. And that's why people say, now I'm done. I gotta go have a drink, or I gotta go get whatever that the pot is, whatever they call it nowadays, CBD, or they gotta do something even worse than that in order to get them to be able to wake up for the next day. So I always tell people, this is all about body, mind, and spirit. You first have to get your emotions under control in order to do the physical work that you need to do. And that's really the bottom line here, because you cannot wake up every day and beat yourself up and think that you got this right when your body is in the back of your brain is constantly saying, I'm depressed, I'm overwhelmed, I can't do this anymore. So stay positive, get yourself some really good nutrients like the kit that I'm putting out there. But the other thing is, I want you to do some omega-3 oils. I want you to make sure that your B12s are at the point where it should be, or do some B12. And always remember this, that heavy diet that I designed years ago, that heavy diet works for the high five. It works for people with cancer. It works for people with brain fog.
That is powerful, powerful. I was reading the comments, the chat, and I noticed that Cynthia commented that she left the antidepressant she was taking when she started, the detox. It goes to show that this is going to help many people who probably been, stuck on meds for quite a while and not knowing how to break out of it. It's
Right.
not easy. It's not easy because sometimes people create that dependence on it. And that's where it gets a lot messed up because, like you said, you need that emotional change. You need to change the mindset. I'm listening to a book from Dr. Carol Dweck. She's a psychologist, and it's called Mindset, the Psychology of Success, and how they teach about the growth mindset and the fixed mindset. So when somebody's all constantly telling themselves, I'm depressed, I'm overwhelmed, you don't get it, just life is just not fair with me. This is a very fixed mindset. It's just killing you. It's hitting you all the time. And the more you repeat it to yourself, the more of it you want. So once
Right.
you start changing the game, you start speaking different, you start talking to yourself, and believe it or not, it's gonna sound crazy, but sometimes even talking to yourself on the mirror in a different way is going to give you a completely different vibe. You're going to start changing your mindset. That's going to start helping you even to feel better, to eat better. You know what? I'm not going to eat that junky donut or that cinnamon roll. I'm going to go have myself something healthy. You're going to start treating yourself a lot better. But it does begin with that emotional change and the switch of mindset. I say
Absolutely.
this is probably, different, but it goes aligned with the growth mindset and the fixed mindset. You want to
Right.
change that fixed mindset, break out of it, and you have a whole community in here that's going to support you and help you become your
And
better version.
I love that, Omar, because it literally is true. And I don't think people get it. And I'm always preaching that. I had a long conversation, 2 hours, and my work is one-on-one. A lot of my work is one-on-one because it's the type of people that I see. So I was talking to this one lady for 2 hours who had stage 4 cancer. And it literally took me those 2 hours, as smart as she was, it literally took me 2 hours to get her to understand it's not the cancer that is making you grow the cancer cells. It's the emotions that are making you grow the cancer cells. So you have to be able to step back because you're doing the physical work, but you're telling your body all day long, I'm stressed, I'm overwhelmed, I'm dying, I'm growing cancer. All day long, you're doing that. And I said, so where's your happy moments? Where's your happy cells? And so what I'm saying, and I'm going to end this, what I'm saying to everyone is that this is not just a physical problem, brain fog. Brain fog is a serious condition because those people are struggling with their emotions. The person that loses their keys all day, do you know that person has high anxiety, high cortisol levels? Somebody needs to look that person in and say, why is it that you can't figure out where your keys are? What is it that why you can't figure out how to get to work without missing the turn? Why do you miss that turn every single day? And these are things that people are embarrassed about. These are things that people are afraid to talk to somebody about. You need a coach because you've got to be able to balance that body, mind, and spirit in order to pursue longevity.
So please, 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 please take action today for a better you tomorrow. You need to do it now for you, for your family, for your loved ones. Don't wait. Dr.
That's
Rona
right.
said the brain fog is just one symptom. out of all the stuff that's happening in that world, that huge world in there. I highly suggest to get with the person who invited you, ask them about the kit, ask them about recall, ask them about H-Pro. You're going to need some NAD in your body as well. We're going to talk about that in another one, but also,
Oh yeah,
you know,
we need to have a whole class on NAD. I have somebody flying. They
we're going to
fly
go
into
deep on
NAD
that one.
direct.
That should be a special event for that night. We should actually
Yeah.
plan it out to make a special event, because that's going to be fire. That
Hey,
and having people understanding. Hey, yes, go ahead, Dr. Ramunda.
hey, what's going on, everybody? It's your girl Ramunda with the DR friend come out where you already know what I do. But you know, one of the wisdom wellness quotes is based on is the old saying says, free your mind and the rest shall follow. So you know, if you free your mind, just like your conversation you're talking about, a lot of people don't realize their mind is so clogged up with everything besides what life has to offer that they're missing out on the opportunity to live their best life. So hey, you know what I do? You know I'm always on the road riding, doing something to help somebody. So what
You're
can I
always
say?
on the road, but just drive on by the retreat.
You know, I'm gonna give you one of them pedal boats and just go in and pedal on over there. Ain't gotta wait for the ferry. But yeah, but it make a whole lot of sense because again, as soon as they free their mind, the rest shall follow.
Yes.
And that's mentally,
Absolutely.
physically, spiritually, focused, all of the above. But they got to get out of their own way to want to survive or want to live. That's a
That's right.
wisdom wellness moment. Hey.
That's it. That's
Thank
it.
you.
Hey, listen, this world is becoming better and better and better every day because we're surrounded by amazing people. And we have in our side Dr. Roni, who is devoted to making our lives better in every area. Because I don't know how she does it, but she'll carve out that time. We'll hop on a phone call, supposedly for 10 minutes. And next thing you know, it's an hour we're talking. She has so much to bring. Take advantage of this. You're not going to find it anywhere else. And one of these days, I always say, one of these days when God calls you, say, okay, my daughter, my lovely daughter, you've done so much. It's time for you to rest. Her name, her smile, and everything she has done to really impact our lives is going to be echoing forever. She's going to leave those ripples of happiness in the lives and hearts of those who have been able to meet her and spend that this time with her. You don't get this anywhere else. Where else can you get a celebrity detox diet doctor who's a bestseller author, who's devoted and passionate about your health, who really cares and not just whipping a pen and giving you some pharmaceuticals? No, natural style, the best way, the way you were created and designed to live a better life is going back to your natural state. So I thank God for your life, Dr. Ronnie. I thank God for everything you do and continue doing, for paving a way for a healthier future. And I thank God every second, because out of all the things you could be doing in your life, and you have a very busy life, you're here with us because you really want to make a difference, but overall make an impact so we can all enjoy part of this. So thank you so much for putting your heart, your wisdom, and for helping this little guy live a better life. I live better because I'm healthier, and I got you guys on my side, and I can pick your brains, and I don't take that for granted, and I don't take that lightly. So thank you for being such an incredible human being.
And thank
God
you,
bless
Omar,
you all.
always allow me to do this because my whole life is about helping people. I'm like the doctor who quit. I knew 20 years ago, 30 years ago, that our quest in life was all about going back to nature. And I hope that I'm alive and well when the world starts understanding that it's just nature, it's natural for us to live in that state. It's not artificial and it's not toxins. We need to clean up our environment. We have a lot of work to do. We also need to teach our allopathic doctors that we want natural, we want nature. We do not want toxicity in our lives and our bodies. So thank you very much and allow me to be able to do this. This is my life.
Awesome, awesome. Let's light up that screen with fire emojis. If you're on Facebook, comment the heck out of these. Put all the comments you can, drop them hearts, and I'm going to leave you with a Hebrew blessing. It says, Admead Vesrum Shana. May you live to 120. God bless you all, and I'll see you over the top. Let's go!
Thank you.
Thank you.